We're back. All right. You know what? Sometimes that happens. Hopefully, some of you um, stuck with me. Just lost internet service. These are the vagaries of going live on social media. Sometimes you lose your connection. It happens twice a year, maybe 3 times a year tops. And the idea is to not get flustered and call it a day. Just see what the problem is. Usually, it's just a matter of waiting a minute or so and relaunching the live stream. So hopefully, you'll be rejoining us, and I'm just going to get to the second half of the show. All right. So one thing I want to show you as far as why tech stocks got hit today, and I've put this screen up before, but check this out. Okay. Why does rising rates hurt high price growth stocks? Because rising rates makes their future earnings less valuable today. Since growth stocks trade on expected future earnings, this depresses their current valuations. And that's basically what happened with tech stocks. So that's one of the things that we were talking about. And then we're talking about the overall markets. And what I was saying to you is before, the VIX, 19.38. We see above 20. We get more of a correction. The Russell 2000 down, barely down. Today was not a bad day. It's just that intraday was a bad day. And it looks like things would have started to recover a little bit toward the end of the day. But what I want to show you in aftermarket trading, okay, gap slashes, full year forecasts, factory closures, delayed products, but how is Gap doing in aftermarket trading? Gap is getting clobbered. Stock is down almost 15% after being down almost 2% during the regular session. And if you take a look at Nordstrom, even worse. Nordstrom down 21% after being down in the regular session. So Nordstrom has gone from 46 high to 25. So that's that. Like that whole recovery from the pandemic with Nordstrom is basically gone. And that's what's happening. If you take a look at let's take a look at Zoom. I feel like we're punching up Zoom a lot these days, just picking on Zoom because they're so easy to pick on. But Zoom hit a 52-week low. The stock was 46 down to 200. That stock has given back so much of its gains from the pandemic. I wonder how many people even made money on Zoom. Yeah, if you bought the stock toward the low in 2020 and got out of it, you made money. Maybe some people are still up in it. But generally speaking, if anyone who bought the stock in the last year, so since the end of 2020, you're down in the stock and you're thinking, what the hell happened? I thought I picked such a great company. And the earnings came out today and they still showed incredible double-digit growth on both earnings and revenues. But it's just no longer enough for a company for a company whose valuations have been typically so high. The company they're still it's down almost 40% on the year, and the PE is trailing PE is 55, forward PE is 46. I don't know if you could see that. So that's what happened here. So let's talk about what's going to happen going forward. Okay, here are 3 big dates that I want to share with you. Okay, so first of all, a fight in Washington over the debt ceiling looms. So here we go again, folks, with Washington causing turmoil in the stock market and possibly spilling over into the economy. But basically, the date to see here is, I know I'm scrolling kind of fast, but the date, the federal government funding, okay, is right here, highlighted in blue, is December 3rd. Okay, December 3rd is the first date that I want to throw at you. That is when the federal government spending deadline. So now there could be like 2 weeks of wiggle room. So it's not like we pass December 3rd. It's lights out for anything that the U.S. government pays for. But December 3rd is definitely an important date, and that's when we really, Congress better get serious. And the Democrats are expected to use a process called budget reconciliation to pass a spending to up the spending limit and keep the lights on. So we'll see if they could pull that off. The next one that I want to share with you is this. Let me make this bigger. You're probably your eyes just bugged out. Okay, this is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is something that I'm on pretty regularly. Okay, schedule of release for the CPI. The next big inflation numbers, okay, are December 10th. You see this? It's my December 10th. Okay, that is the last inflation reading of the year. December 10th. So that's a substantial date as well. And we've been seeing these super high inflation numbers, highest inflation numbers in 30 years. So that's the next date. And if we get another very high inflation reading, you could pretty much bet your bottom dollar that the Fed will have to accelerate its bond tapering and get to interest rate hikes sooner rather than later. And that would be expected to put even more pressure on the super high flying tech stocks that were the darlings of the pandemic shutdown era. Okay. And the next big date that I want to show you, okay, is right from the Federal Reserve's website itself. Okay. Oops. Get rid of that. The next FOMC meeting is right here, December 14th and 15th. It's a 2-day meeting. And the 15th is at around 2:15, 2:30 is when the Fed comes out with its announcements, what they're going to do. And that is expected to be the date when they come out and say either they're going to accelerate the taper or they'll say that the taper is fine the way it is. It'll be one of those two things. You're definitely not going to say they're going to slow it down. And then they could talk about saying, we may have moved up our forecast to raising interest rates a little sooner, maybe in, April or May. And that's the kind of thing that just rocks markets. So that it's going to be a really interesting first half of December. And it could call into question a lot of the gains that we've seen at the end of this year so far. Who's out there? We have Cleonice Tonnet. Forgive me if I mispronounce the name. I so much want to learn about stocks and investments. Well, you've come to the right place. That's what we do. We talk about stocks and investments. And if there's something that, look, I never want to talk past somebody. So if there's something that I feel like if you feel I'm getting into the jargon, whatever, you let me know. Okay. But the taper means this, just so you know. The Federal Reserve buys 140 has been buying $140 billion worth of bonds in the open market, 80 billion in treasuries, and 40 billion in mortgage bonds. And they're going to buy less and less and less every month until they're at zero by the end of next June. And then after that, the Fed is expected to raise interest rates. Now, the Fed has said one is not tied to the other. When we get to raising interest rates, it could be soon after that. It could take a while after that. It could be a couple of months. It could be 6 months. We'll see. It could be a few quarters. We don't know yet. But as the data comes in and the Federal Reserve, chaired by Jerome Powell, he said that we are data dependent. He didn't actually use those words, but he says as the data comes in, we'll reevaluate. And the data has been coming in with inflation running at a 30-year high. So we've got a lot of things to keep an eye on, especially those three big things: December 3rd, budget, raising the debt limit. December 10th is the next big consumer price index, the next inflation reading. And then December 15th, the end of the 2-day FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee meeting, the 15th, and we'll see what all three of those mean. That's it. That's my story for today. Sorry about the interruptions in the live stream. I am go, unless anything happens crazy. Tomorrow is Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving. I'm going to be taking the day off from the live stream. Thursday, no live stream. It's Thanksgiving. And I want to wish all of you a very happy, healthy Thanksgiving. So I'll be back next Monday. Of course, again, if anything crazy happens in the financial world, I'll be right here filling you in on what's going on. Until then, stay well, enjoy Thanksgiving. And, if you have any questions, anything you want to reach out to me about, you hit me up in the comments or send me a DM, and I'd love to chat. Okay. Take care. Thank you.